Hi, I'm Mark Shinn. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the new PNG 1300 V2. The first 1300 PNG is a bit of a legend of a foil, with many riders using it starting to wing, dog starting, learning to downwind, an amazing wing with a big reputation. So the new 1300 has big boots to fill. I'm not going to be talking about the technical aspects of the foil. If you want to know about aspect ratios and profiles and camber, then look into one of the many videos you can find with Adrian Roper, the designer. I'm fortunate to have been riding this foil since around July, and I have a lot of time on it now, and I have a lot of respect for what this foil can do. Being on the heavier side of riders, the 1300 becomes quite a mainstay in my quiver. And one of the things I like most about the new 1300, as I like the old 1300, is it's just such a versatile foil. Flat water paddle ups, dog starts, light wind winging, even small wave riding. It's just a fantastic foil for doing a multitude of things. Let's consider the key factors for a foil like the 1300 PNG. It needs to start early, it needs to glide, it has to be easy to pump, it has to be fast enough to be fun, and it has to be easy to control. Starting with speed. The main thing I didn't like on the old 1300 was it was slow, really slow. And especially for winging, sometimes with downwind paddling, it was too slow. The new 1300 absolutely blows it away in this. It is consistently happy riding between 22 and 25 kilometers per hour. And in wave riding, I've had it up to 29, 30 kilometers per hour, which is more than fast enough for a foil of this type. Glide, the aspect ratio, the shape of the foil, there is a noticeable increase in glide over the V1 1300. So that box is definitely ticked. I would say the original 1300 was a good downwind foil for beginner downwinders. The new 1300 V2 probably qualifies as a good downwind foil for heavy riders, not just beginners. Early starting, it's quite hard to say because both foils start really early, and in dog starting, maybe you can notice the difference between the two. Hard to say. In flat water paddle ups, I really don't notice a big difference. In winging, also, I don't notice a big difference. Suffice to say, the early starting is outstanding. Sometimes you start foiling before you think you should be foiling, and the stall speed is similar. The V2 has a very nice high pump, almost like a bounce when you're high up on the mast. It's very low energy, meaning it's an efficient foil to pump. And in the end, if you want to do extended pumping, efficiency is the most important, that you're not gassing out too soon. I'm not the world's best dog starter, and I'm not really the best person to comment on dog starts, but there are plenty of people out there who have been trying it and saying that the low speed stability is good. So we come on to control and turning of the foil. And in both of these, the V2 is truly a level above the V1. In control, we've lost that feeling that sometimes the 1300 seemed to have a little bit of a mind of its own and decided which way it was going to go, and you as the pilot had a little control over it, and that feeling is now gone. I would say the 1300 in terms of controllability feels like a much smaller foil. Carving, the original V1 was quite okay for carving, but again, I would say the V2 is better. I don't think it's intrinsically better at carving. I just think that increasing control and glide make it easier to carve, so you can commit more and you have a better carve. But certainly I have more fun riding on this foil than I did on the 1300 in small waves. So my chosen setup is 82 centimeter high modulus power carbon mast, crazy short Advanced Plus fuselage, and skinny 40 stabilizer. For the fuselage, I settled on crazy short for most of the time because it has a great balance between pump frequency and carving on the foil. I have used it on the Psycho short, and the turning ability is definitely improved, but I do lose some pumpability in the foil, and it's always a compromise in a foil of this size. So in general, what do I think? I think that all the things that made the V1 1300 popular, the V2 does better. It's faster, it turns better, it glides better, it pumps at least as well, if not a little bit better. It has a lot more control. I would say nearly every feature of the original 1300 has been upgraded, so a worthy successor. Compared to the ART Pro 1401, well, the 1401 definitely has more glide and it's easier to suck the energy out of the ocean with it, but it comes with a large increase in control issues. So if I have the luxury of being in my van, there's a day for both. The 1300 when the conditions are a little bit more complicated, and the 1400 when the water is a bit clearer. If I have to choose one, then it would be the 1300 nearly always, just because it's more versatile and easier to use. There's few days with the 1300 you would be caught out. On the 1401 there are days when it can be a handful. In conclusion, I really like this foil, and it's the first front wing that goes into my bag on any trip because it's the absolute session saver.